Hello everyone, and we are into lesson 5 of our paid video course called Yijing Leadership and Management. So in lesson 4, we talk about the 49 attributes of Yin and Yang. I'm sure now some of you have come up with your own attributes. And now let's continue to see how much do you really understand about Yin and Yang. Many people have told me that yin and yang is very simple. I understand it very well. Well, now, if you can answer correctly to all these questions, then I suppose you will have more or less mastered yin and yang. So let me ask everyone some simple questions, right? Where is the yin, where's the yang in your hands? Is this the yang or is this the yin? Which is correct? So we all know yang means hard and yin means soft. So obviously this part is harder and this is softer. That's why when teacher hit the student, they will hit here, right? Not hit here. So that's very simple. So you look at your fingers and you find that actually there are 5 fingers, right? Anybody has less than 5 fingers? So the important thing is that these 5 fingers, they have to work together. You cannot work without any of the fingers. So you realize that one of them will stand out, and we know anything that stands out is called the yang. So simple, right? So this is definitely the yang because it's harder. So the other 4 fingers, they are even numbers that together. So definitely these 4, they are the yin. Is that very simple? I think everybody knows, right? 4 fingers, they must be the yin. And if you look at your 4 fingers carefully, you realize that each one of them, there are 3 parts. And we know 3 is odd number. And these 4 fingers, they are actually the yin fingers. But inside the yin, there are 3 parts. That is the yang. That's why we say in, inside the yin, there is yang. And now you look at your thumb. Your thumb is the yang finger, right? And it has 2 parts, 2 segments. 2 is even number. So inside the yang, there is yin. That's why we always say yin and yang, they cannot live or work without each other because there's always the yin inside the yang and there's always the yang inside the yin. Further questions, why do we celebrate the Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year? Why do we celebrate the most on the 1st and the 15th of the day, right? Definitely, it's very obvious because these 2 are the most young, right? And because the Chinese New Year is a festival season, of course, it is very young. So we celebrate more on the young. So simple, right? So the next thing is about the Sun Tzu Bing Fa or Sun Tzu Art of War and the 36 stratagems. We all know the one that's exposed, the one that's famous is none other than the Art of War. So obviously this is the young because you see the book, you read the book, they always talk about strategies and many people have followed the book and they have achieved lots of successes. They claim, right? So obviously the Art of War is very young. How about the 36 stratagems? The 36 stratagems is called the secret art of war. It is not as famous as the art of war, and it is supposed to be used by the layman. So normally generals, warriors, they don't quote, oh, I used the 36 stratagems because the 36 stratagems, hearing the name, you know, it is very ing because 36 is an ing number, right? So from here you can see these 2 have to work together. I have a course called Leadership with Art of War and 36 Stratagems. You can go for this video course. For people that go for 2 courses, there's always a huge 50% discount. That means when you buy 2 of my paid video courses, you always will get a 50% discount. And when you refer someone to subscribe for our video course, you can earn 50% of the fee. In other words, you refer to people, you get back all your money. Why do we do so? Because we want our students to truly benefit from our courses and we want you to make money out of this. Payment will be settled through PayPal. And more importantly, we want to spread Sinology, we want to spread Chinese culture to the rest of the world. So we are offering huge referral reward when you refer someone. And understand that all these are video courses, they are online and anyone, anywhere can watch them anytime. You do not need to have a fixed time. And more importantly, you have full access to the trainer on a one-to-one basis. You can ask questions to the trainer anytime as long as you are still interested in the course. Why male is yang and female is yin? I think this is very simple. We have spoken about this many times ago because it all starts with the beginning. At the beginning, there must be something that starts ball rolling, right? So one is yang, and even number. The second one is yin. So third, number three is yang because there are three of them, right? It's an odd number. Then why male is yang and female is yin? Very simple. You look at your dog or cat. How do you know whether this dog or cat is male or female? You don't go by the looks, you go by the sexual organ. So you fly over the legs of the cat and realize that the male cat has one sexual organ, whereas the female cat has two sexual organs. But some of you may claim that, oh, I don't have a dog or cat in my house. How do I verify this? Very simple, just look at yourself, right? In other words, eating is something that is 100% verifiable. You can always verify. You do not need to have blind faith, neither do you need to just remember for the sake of remembering. Understand that eating is based on nature. Nature is, of course, verifiable. Why left is yang and right is yin? Very simple, because the earth rotates left to right, right? Left to right. So it starts from left, of course. Left, the starting is the yang. And we talk about Chinese names. Many women they have these names, and there is the 女字旁, there's a female, no, 女 means the woman, the female, and then it's on the left side of the word. We all know woman is yin, and yin is supposed to be on the right side, right? Male is yang, male is on the left side. So looking at these names, you will tell that such names, there is a serious error. The woman, instead of positioning herself on the right side, she's now on the left side. And you can verify that women having such names with a female, the 女字旁, basically they have a hard life. They are more or less taking over the role of the man. When you know eating and you understand eating, you can actually become your own master of your own fate, because fate or life is all about nature, following nature, following natural laws, and eating is just reflection of nature. Further examples, like what is cause, what's effect? Cause is the starting, obviously there's yang, that's so simple, right? And also yin is something cannot see, so maybe you cannot see the effect. Heart and head, people often say you must use your heart, not just use your head, right? Use your heart. I will say use beyond heart and head, use your soul. Your soul knows everything, right? What is the soul? Is the soul the yang or the yin? Obviously, the soul something cannot touch and see, so obviously it is the yin. So as for the head, obviously it's the yang because you can see, right? As for the heart, you can say sometimes I can see the heart, I can feel the heart of somebody. Then obviously the heart is not that yin, it could be yang. However, whether something is yin or yang is relative to what are you talking about. In other words, if you compare this with another thing, you were able to know what is the yin and yang. But if you look at the thing alone, it's hard to tell. But whatever the case is, even though you conclude that this is yang, that is the yin inside the yang. Virtual versus physical, this is very simple. Physical can touch and feel, of course, that is yang. Whereas virtual, like IT, internet, of course, that's yin. Moral versus legal. Something that is legal, following the laws made by the parliament, made by the government, of course, is very open, and of course, that is very yang. Whereas the moral laws is to follow your conscience, follow your heart, do what is right, even though that may not be legally right. That, of course, is yin. At the end of the day, people always say, I have no choice. Understand that when you choose something that's yang, when you don't choose, it's actually yin. When people say I have no choice, actually they are having a choice. They choose to not choose. That is actually yang. Want versus choice. When people say, I want to be rich, how come they are not rich? Understand that when you use the phrase, I want money, implies that you don't have money. For example, now I say, I want a microphone. That means I don't have a microphone. That's not true. I already have a microphone. So I would say, I choose to get a very good microphone. It's not the same, a very good microphone like this, right? So want is obviously a yang, because it's something that you say, I want. But actually, choice is something that you choose inside of you unconsciously. That is the yin. The Chinese has this phrase called Yijing Yang 之味道, which simply means the entire world can be explained with the yin and yang. That also implies the entire world's problems can be easily solved with the yin and yang. Many people would not able to understand this. They will say, how is it possible? Well, you can give me all any case studies in the world. I'm able to solve them with the yin and yang. Understand that I can solve it not because I'm clever or have some superpowers. I'm just using the natural laws of yin and yang. Why one mountain cannot contain two tigers? Very obvious, right? Tigers are young, so you cannot have two young. The two young will keep on fighting, right? Why do bosses and staff work better when they're of different gender? I think this is quite common sense. This one no need to explain further, right? The boss and the staff will definitely work better when they are of the different gender because there's a yin and yang balance. Why riskier jobs are done by men? Because riskier jobs are obviously young because you can see, and you can touch and all those things. So definitely they are young and male are more suitable for young jobs, whereas female are more suitable for inside jobs like those research, like those support service. Why you cannot exercise at 12 noon and you must go to bed by 12 midnight? This is what the old people have been telling us. And people say, Andy, old people talking, old people saying, let's not believe them. Well, they do not say this out of nothing. They say this based on eating because we know there is a yin time and a yang time. There's also the strong yin hours and the strong yang hours. So you can look at this chart and realize that the strong yang hours are usually from 12 noon to 6 p.m. Of course, this is all things being equal, right? If now there's a heavy storm, then of course things would change. I'm talking about 80% of the time. Ladies and gentlemen, yin and yang it's not so simple as they're opposites. They are actually growing and countering each other all the time. And when they interact with each other, they will actually help each other, or they may actually diminish each other. We often know opposites work better because opposite there's a complementary energy. Two strong signals counter each other strongly. That's very common sense, right? Too strong, they will counter. And during interactions, the yin and yang will change. Maybe the yin will become more yang, will become less yin, and the yang will become more yin and less yang. But understand that there's a yin side, the yang side, the yin. Oh, just that when they interact, they will change their nature. But sometimes during interaction, the yang will become more yang. That's obvious, right? When the woman is so weak and cannot do anything, the man has to take on more role, right? We know there is no absolute yin or yang. There is simply nothing that is absolute in this world. Everything is relative, and everything depends on how you look at things. Yin and Yang will work better when they are working together or with each other. Even if they counter each other, they are actually working, and that kind of working will result in more efficient and more effective results. So if they work alone, that's definitely not effective or efficient. So now let's do a simple exercise. So in my physical class or Zoom class, I will get participants. If there is more than one person in the Zoom, then one person will hold the fist very tight and the other person will try to open the fist in 10 seconds. How to do it? Of course, you can't do this alone. You need another person to work with you, right? But let me now just demonstrate the exercise. You realize that if this is another person and you try to open the fist, the more you try to open, the more this person will hold the fist tighter. So realize that when this person holds a fist tight, that is yang, there's some strength. And you try to open it, there's further strength, that's yang. And we know yang and yang, when they work together, too strong yang will result in destruction. So when you try to force open the fist, both of you will end up in quarrels, right? What would be a better way, an easier way to open the fist? Of course, there are many ways. One way you can simply distract the person. Distract person will open the fist just like this, right? Or you can give the person something. Is this your pen? The person need to open the fist to receive it, right? Or you can talk nicely to the person. You can persuade, influence the person, right? Or you can simply do the same as him. He hold the fist tight, you also hold your fist tight, and both of you will just hold and see who can hold it longer. After a while, you realize that both cannot hold it any longer. Of course, this last method, when someone is very strong yang, and you become even stronger yang, that is actually not a very good method because you are actually making things worse. However, we know that sometimes for things to get better, they must get worse, right? Life is just so simple. Huh? So, ladies and gentlemen, that's for our lesson 5. And now let's move on to a lesson 6.